You know the snow will slowly melt, but my love will never die.
The disappearance of Kyron Richard Horman, born September 9, 2002, is an American boy who disappeared from Skyline Elementary School in Portland, Oregon, on June 4, 2010, after attending a science fair. Local and state police, along with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, conducted an exhaustive search and launched a criminal investigation, but have not uncovered any significant information regarding the child's whereabouts. Horman's disappearance sparked the largest criminal investigation in Oregon history. To this day, his whereabouts remain unknown. Background: Kyron Richard Horman was born September 9, 2002, in Portland, Oregon, to Desiree Young and Kane Horman, an engineer for Intel. The couple divorced 8 months into Young's pregnancy with Kyron, with Young citing irreconcilable differences. The two had been granted shared custody of Kyron until 2004, but when Young was diagnosed with kidney failure that required extensive medical intervention, Kane took over full custody. Notwithstanding this fact, Young still remained an active part of the child's upbringing. In 2007, Kane married Terry Moulton, born March 14, 1970, a substitute teacher originally from Roseburg. Kane became romantically involved with Moulton around 2001 when he and Young were in the midst of divorcing. They married in 2007 while visiting Kauai, Hawaii. In December 2008, Moulton gave birth to a daughter, Kiara. Meanwhile, Kyron was a student at Skyline Elementary School near Forest Park. Disappearance on June 4, 2010, Kyron was taken to Skyline Elementary School by his stepmother Terry Horman, Moulton, who then stayed with him while he attended a science fair. Terry Horman stated that she left the school at around 8:45 a.m. and that she last remembered seeing Kyron walking down the hall to his class. However, Kyron was never seen in his first class and was instead marked as absent that day. Terry's statements to the police indicate that, after leaving the school at 8:45 a.m., she ran errands at 2 different Fred Meyer grocery stores until about 10:10 a.m. Between then and 11:39 a.m., she stated that she was driving her daughter around town in an attempt to use the motion of the vehicle to soothe the toddler's earache. Terry said that she then went to a local gym and exercised until about 12:40 p.m. By 1:21 p.m., she had arrived home and posted photos of Kyron at the science fair on Facebook. At 3:30 p.m., Terry and her husband, Kane, walked with their daughter, Kiara, to the bus stop to meet Kyron. The bus driver told them that the boy had not boarded the bus, and to call the school to ask his whereabouts. Terry did so, only to be informed by the school secretary that, as far as anyone there knew, Kyron had not been at school since early that day and that he had accordingly been marked absent. Realizing then that the boy was missing, the secretary called 911. Initial search efforts for Kyron were extensive and primarily focused on a 2-mile, 3.2 kilometers, radius around Skyline Elementary and on Sauvie Island, approximately 6 miles, 9.7 kilometers, away. Law enforcement did not disclose their reasons for searching the area where they did, which included a search of the Sauvie Island Bridge. On June 9, 2010, the Horman family, who had initially refused to speak with the media, released a statement. Kyron family would like to thank people for support and interest in finding their son. The outpouring of support and continued effort strengthens their hope. We need for folks to continue to assist us in our goal. Please search your properties, cars, outbuildings, sheds, etc. Also check with neighbors and friends who may be on vacation or may need assistance in searching. There are a lot of resources here to help you search, so please don't stop. It is obviously a difficult time and they want to speak to the public, so you can hear it from Kyron family as they come together to share their message. Their objective is to keep the focus on Kyron and not about anything else. On June 12, around 300 trained rescuers were on the ground searching wooded areas near the school. The search for Kyron, which spanned 10 days, was the largest in Oregon history and included over 1,300 searchers from Oregon, Washington, and California. A reward posted for information leading to the discovery of Kyron, which was initially $25,000, expanded to $50,000 in late July 2010. Legal proceedings ended in late June 2010. In the midst of the search, Kane was reportedly told by investigators that Terry had offered their landscaper, Rodolfo Sanchez, a lot of money to kill her husband. Sanchez testified in a deposition that Terry approached him to help kill her husband in January 2010. 5 months before Kyron's disappearance, in her own deposition, Terry denied the charge. Investigators convinced Sanchez to confront Terry while wearing an audio surveillance device, but they were unable to obtain any evidence and could not make an arrest. On June 28, Kane filed for divorce and obtained a restraining order against Terry. The divorce was granted and Terry was eventually granted supervised visitation with her daughter. During this time, Terry failed 2 separate polygraph examinations regarding Kyron's disappearance. In August 2010, it was announced that law enforcement were searching for an individual allegedly seen by 2 witnesses sitting inside Terry's truck outside Skyline Elementary the day of the disappearance. Bruce McCain, a former sheriff for the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, told CBS News, the identity of that second person, if he or she existed, could be critical in determining what happened to Kyron after 9 a.m. on June 4. Meanwhile, in July 2010, a Multnomah County grand jury subpoenaed several friends of Terry, including Deed Spicker, whom Young and Kane described as having been in close communication with Terry and providing Terry with support and advice that is not in the best interests of our son. According to law enforcement, Spicker was extremely cooperative and allowed a search of her property and car, as well as enduring 3 hours of questioning from detectives on the day of Kyron's disappearance. Spicker abruptly left her work gardening for a homeowner on Germantown Road in northwest Portland around 11:30 a.m., and returned around 90 minutes later. She also allegedly helped Terry purchase an untraceable cell phone. During this time, Spicker told journalists, "There's this horror that my friend is going through. If I thought for a second that she was capable of foul play, I would not have been there. She would not have been my friend in the first place." In early August 2010, both Young, Kane and the Skyline Elementary School principal were subpoenaed and testified during the grand jury hearing. In December 2010, it was reported by the Oregonian that the grand jury had yet to provide compelling evidence yielding a potential indictment. By November 29, 2010, search efforts in Kyron's case had cost an estimated $1.4 million, according to county commissioners, and yielded 4,257 tips. In May 2017, it was reported by Portland station KGW that a secret grand jury panel continued to hear evidence in Kyron's disappearance, and had convened on multiple occasions. During the report, Kyron's case was described as still active and ongoing. 2 months later, in July 2017, law enforcement conducted further searches along Skyline Boulevard, but the searches yielded no results. In June 2018, Young posted on the official Find Kyron Horman Facebook page, "Stay tuned, something big is coming, I promise you." Lawsuit against Terry Horman. On June 1, 2012, Young filed a civil lawsuit against Terry, claiming that she was responsible for the disappearance of Kyron. The lawsuit attempted to prove that Terry had kidnapped Kyron on the day he disappeared. Young sought $10 million in damages. On August 15, 2012, a federal court judge denied a motion by Terry to delay the lawsuit. In early October 2012, Spicker refused to answer any of the 142 questions posed to her during a deposition regarding Young's lawsuit. Among these questions were several regarding Spicker's whereabouts on June 4, 2010, and her contact with Terry that day. She also declined to identify a photo of Kyron, whether she had met him and whether she knew his father, Kane. During testimony provided by Kane in a separate hearing the same year, he stated that police had told him they have more probable cause to think Terry Horman was involved in Kyron's disappearance than they did 2 years ago. On July 30, 2013, it was announced that Young had dropped the lawsuit against Terry so as not to interfere with the ongoing police investigation. Depiction in media. Terry appeared as a guest on Dr. Phil in 2016, during which she told Phil McGraw, "I was advised from the beginning by law enforcement, by my husband at the time, by attorneys in the beginning, not to say anything. I've always wanted to. I've asked multiple times to speak out and have not been allowed." She denied having any involvement in Kyron's disappearance, and also stated her belief that he was kidnapped, adding, "There was a man in a white pickup truck, Ford, parked on Highway 30 at the 7-11, which is not near the school. He was acting very strangely and he was addressed by one of the employees because he had been pacing back and forth in front of the 7-11 for about an hour. Boy Missing, The Search for Kyron Horman. Written by Rebecca Morris, was released in May 2020. Vanished from School, Season 2, Episode 2, of the television show Real Life Nightmare on Discovery ID explores the case. The episode aired November 15, 2020. Timeline June 4, 2010 at 8:15 a.m. Skyline PTA President Gina Zimmerman arrived at the school and saw Kyron with his stepmother in front of his exhibit. Terry Horman left the school at 8:45 a.m. After watching Kyron walk towards his classroom at 9 a.m., another student reported seeing Kyron near the south entrance of Skyline. Class began at 10 a.m. and sometime after, Kyron homeroom teacher Christina Porter reported Kyron absent. At 1:21 p.m., Terry Moulton Horman posted the picture of Kyron and his project to her Facebook page. Terry and Kyron's father, Kane Horman, went to meet the school bus at 3:30 p.m. and discovered that Kyron had been absent from school all day. At 3:46 p.m., the school secretary Susan Hall called 9-1-1 to report Kyron missing. About 45 minutes later, officers from the Portland Police Bureau and the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office arrived simultaneously at the school and Kyron's home. An hour later, at 5:30 p.m., a broadcast was sent to phones of parents in Portland public schools that read, "Kyron Horman did not arrive at home today." At 7 p.m. Multnomah County Sheriff's Detective Sergeant Lee Gasson alerted Sergeant Travis Goldberg, the county's on-call coordinator for search and rescue efforts, of the need to begin a formal missing persons search for Kyron. Between 7 and 7:15 p.m., the Multnomah County Public Information Officer began to return pages from members of the media and arranged to meet them at the school. Sometime between 7 and 7:45 p.m., Sheriff Dan Staton personally called the FBI to alert them to Kyron's disappearance. The first search teams arrived at Skyline School at 8:09 p.m. and shortly after, at 8:15 p.m., Lieutenant Mary Lindstrand also arrived at the school and met with those present. She then began emailing a photo of Kyron to local media. Deputy Mark Heron, the search and rescue coordinator, arrived at 8:25 p.m. At 9:48 p.m., Mountain Wave, an emergency communications and search and rescue group based in Gresham, also arrived at the school. At 10:40 p.m., officers reported that they had completed a search of Skyline School, including all crawl spaces, storage areas, classrooms and outbuildings. They had also searched the Horman house. At 10:44 p.m., a tipster called 9-1-1 to make sure officers checked the train tunnel in the area near the school. The caller said, "Sometimes kids play in there, wants to make sure someone has checked that." June 5, 2010, another search group, Pacific Northwest Search and Rescue, was called by the sheriff's office at 5 a.m. Saturday. When they arrive on site, 60 to 70 people were already involved in the search. At 9:08 a.m., the Associated Press received its first official notification that Kyron was missing, via an email with the subject line, "Sheriff's Office continues search for 7-year-old Kyron Horman." That morning, helpfindmaychild.net, a UK-based missing child site, created a page for Kyron and a tip line was created. At 5:03-261-2847. Around that time, the Portland Public Schools District used its rapid broadcast system to alert staff and parents of Skyline School students who were at the school Friday to come to the K-8 on Sunday for debriefings by police and federal agents. The oldest students were advised to arrive at 10 a.m., kindergartners and first graders were to arrive with parents later in the day. 2 news conferences were held that day, one at 4 p.m. and one at 8 p.m. Authorities announced that the FBI and the National Guard had joined the effort. Search and rescue crews completed an immediate grid search around the school. His family. The page remains active today. June 6, 2010, Terry Moulton Horman posted on Facebook at 8:58 a.m., saying she had ordered missing person flyers. "I ordered 1,000 flyers, they will be coming to our house," she wrote. "I will let people know when they are here and we can go from there. Thank you everyone." That morning, the FBI announced that they had brought in a Quantico, Virginia-based profiler to create a profile of the boy. At 9:48 a.m., The first of 300 students and their parents returned to Skyline School to be interviewed by detectives. 50 detectives were on hand for interviews that continued until 4 p.m. That afternoon, around 12:10 p.m., Kyron's relatives began distributing missing person flyers with a photo of Kyron and this description: 3 feet, 8 inches tall, 50 pounds, blue eyes, brown hair. Last seen wearing black cargo pants, white socks, and worn black Skechers tennis shoes with orange trim. At 3:30 p.m., Portland Public Schools Superintendent Carol Smith appeared at a news conference and outlined a series of immediate steps the district was taking to address security concerns in the wake of Kyron's disappearance. The Multnomah County Sheriff escalated Kyron's disappearance to a missing endangered child case at 9 p.m., but did not call it a kidnapping. June 7, 2010 in the early morning, 18 certified search and rescue volunteers resumed sweeping the area near the school as deputies canvassed the neighborhood, handing out flyers and jotting down license plate numbers of passing vehicles along Northwest Skyline Boulevard. The school district began staffing a counseling hotline, and at 8:45 a.m., classes resumed at Skyline with counselors on hand. That evening, Kelly Ramirez, the sister of Desiree Young, issued a statement thanking the community on behalf of the family for their concern and support. June 8, 2010 search and rescue crews resumed their search and a reward fund was created and announced on Facebook. June 9, 2010 search and rescue crews resumed their search for Kyron in the morning, and Terry Moulton Horman made her Facebook wall private. At 11 a.m., FBI spokeswoman Beth Ann Steele said the Horman family is not speaking to the media because they do not believe it's in the best interest of finding Kyron. At noon during a news briefing, Multnomah County Sheriff's Captain Mike Schultz read a statement from Kyron Horman's immediate family. Kyron's family would like to thank people for support and interest in finding their son. The outpouring of support and continued effort strengthens their hope. We need for folks to continue to assist us in our goal. Please search your properties, cars, outbuildings, sheds, etc. Also check with neighbors and friends who may be on vacation or may need assistance in searching. There are a lot of resources here to help you search, so please don't stop. It is obviously a difficult time and they want to speak to the public so you can hear it from Kyron's family as they come together to share their message. Their objective is to keep the focus on Kyron and not about anything else. Portland Mountain Rescue received a call from the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office to join the search at 9:45 p.m. June 10, 2010 search and rescue teams continue their search efforts. June 11, 2010 the search resumed and at 10 a.m. was expanded to Sauvie Island. Kyron's family appeared at a news conference for the first time at 1 p.m. Tony Young, Kyron's stepfather, said, "We miss you, we love you and we need you home now." He then thanked all the volunteers and the community for its outpouring of support. He was followed by Kane Horman, Kyron's father, who also spoke about how grateful the family was to the community and searchers. June 12, 2010 the search resumed Saturday morning and the sheriff's office asked the public to hold back on further donations of food, water, and other supplies for searchers because of the sheer volume of supplies received at this point. June 13, 2010 the search resumed early in the day, but at noon, the sheriff's office announced at a news briefing that the massive search for Kyron has ended and the case was shifting to a criminal investigation. On the fateful morning of June 4, 2010, Kyron Horman, a 7-year-old second grader, vanished from his elementary school in Portland, Oregon. Kyron was reportedly last seen at 8:15 a.m. in front of his science fair exhibit with his stepmother, Terry Lynn Moulton Horman. Despite an extensive search involving police, school staff, and volunteers, Kyron has never been found. According to Terry's statement, she drove Kyron to Skyline Elementary School that morning, as there was a science fair scheduled. They arrived shortly after 8 a.m. and dropped off Kyron's coat and backpack at his classroom. A witness confirmed seeing Terry and Kyron together at 8:15 p.m. Terry claimed that she left the school at 8:45 a.m., when the school bell rang. She stated that Kyron told her he was going to his classroom. However, the investigation revealed that Kyron was never seen at the school after 8:45 a.m. His teacher marked him absent after classes began at 10 a.m., assuming he was at a doctor's appointment. Terry reported Kyron missing at 3:45 p.m., after he failed to arrive home at 3:30 p.m. as scheduled. The disappearance of Kyron Horman has been the subject of numerous investigations and media attention. Police have conducted extensive searches and interviewed hundreds of potential witnesses, but no substantial leads have emerged. Kyron family and loved ones have remained hopeful throughout the years, but the mystery of his disappearance continues to haunt them. Search continues for Kyron Horman, Oregon boy whose 2010 disappearance made global headlines. Story from June 2023. It's been 13 years since 7-year-old Kyron Horman vanished, shortly after showing off his science project at his school in Northwest Portland, Oregon. His case captured the attention of people around the globe, resulting in a documentary and even a book by a New York Times best-selling author. But Kyron remains missing and his mother is still hoping to bring him home. On June 4, 2010, Kyron left for school with his stepmother, Terry Horman, looking forward to showing off his second-grade science project on tree frogs. The pair took Kyron's father, Kane Horman's, truck to Skyline School that day. Terry didn't normally drive the car but said she'd need it to bring Kyron's science project back home. Terry snapped a picture of Kyron with his project, which she posted to Facebook that afternoon. But she said when she went to pick Kyron up from the bus at 2:30 p.m., he wasn't there. The family called the school and the police. Later the FBI set up staging and search locations both at the school and at Kane and Terry's house. For the first 9 days, police called the search a missing persons case, but on day 10, they changed the scope to a criminal investigation. Investigators know some of what happened on the day Kyron disappeared. Terry drove him to school with his 18-month-old stepsister in the car. According to Terry, Kyron showed her his project and then went back to his classroom. But Kyron's mother, Desiree Young, said witnesses saw Terry and Kyron leaving the school together. That morning, they were seen out in front of the school by one of Kyron's friends, his grandma and sister, as well as his bus driver, Young said. They were walking out to the main road, which was where the truck was parked. Kyron's teacher had been told he had a doctor's appointment that day, so nobody questioned his absence when he was missing from class. Terry said she drove around town that day, stopping at 2 grocery stores to get medicine for her infant daughter, who wasn't feeling well. She said after that she spent time driving around to settle her down. Police investigating the case found Terry's phone pinged around Highway 30, an area known in Oregon as a road less traveled. Rebecca Morris, who wrote the book Boy Missing: The Search for Kyron Horman about Kyron's case, noted, there was a significant amount of time between when Kyron reportedly went missing and when his disappearance was reported to the police. He was missing for 6 hours before they knew he was missing. 6 hours is a long time when a 7-year-old child is missing, Morris said. After 13 years, no suspects or persons of interest in the case have been named or charged. But there have been many twists and turns in the investigation from the beginning. While investigating Kyron's disappearance, police discovered Terry allegedly tried to hire a landscaper to kill her husband, Kyron's father, several months before Kyron vanished. When police told Kane about the story, he left his home with their infant daughter and filed for divorce. Later, Terry told People magazine and ABC News she was always an outsider in the case even though she was caring for Kyron daily. When the police started questioning us, they took into account more what Kane and Desiree were saying as opposed to what I was saying, and I spent my days with him, Terry said. When Terry spoke privately with police, they told her she failed 2 polygraph tests. Although a judge and a lawyer for Terry have called her a suspect in court papers, she has never officially been named a suspect or person of interest by police. I was willing to talk about anything. I want him home, Terry said. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office did not agree to an interview with News Nation, but ahead of the 13-year anniversary of Kyron's disappearance, they issued a statement. Kyron's disappearance continues to have a profound impact on our community. The case remains open and active. Investigators are using advances in software, digital forensics, and geospatial technology to support and advance their work, the statement read. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children also released a new photo last year, showing what Kyron might look like today. Meanwhile, Kyron's mother is still searching for answers, especially from Terry, who was the last person to see Kyron before he disappeared. Young filed a civil suit against Terry 10 years ago, accusing her of kidnapping Kyron. Young dropped the lawsuit, but she has been fundraising in hopes of getting a task force and private investigator in place to file a new case again. If we're not going to get it ready for court, we're just sitting here waiting for a magic moment that may or may not be in our future, Young said. In an interview with News Nation, Young recounted a moment she had just days after Kyron vanished. She said she felt both the presence of God and her son in a quiet moment outdoors when she felt the wind kick up and the warmth of Kyron's touch on her hand. He told me, "Mama, I'm okay. There is a God and I'm with him and I'm happy and okay. And you need to be okay, too." And I said I can't be okay, because I need answers, Young said. I don't want you to be with God, I want you to be with me. Missing since June 4, 2010. Missing from Portland, Oregon. Classification: endangered. Missing sex: male. Race: white. Date of birth: September 9, 2002, 21, age 7 years old. Height and weight: 3 feet 8 inches, 50 pounds. Clothing/jewelry description: a black t-shirt with CSI in green lettering and a handprint image on the front, size 7 black cargo pants, white Hanes athletic socks and worn size 11 black Skechers sneakers with orange trim. Medical conditions: kyron is allergic to bee stings. Distinguishing characteristics: Caucasian male. Brown hair, blue eyes. Kyron wears metal-framed eyeglasses. Kyron's photo is shown age progressed to 19 years. On June 4, 2024. Will be 14 years that Kyron has been missing. The history of the Kyron Horman Foundation. The mission of the Kyron Horman Foundation is to help families of missing children in their ultimate goal to bring their child, Ren, home. Inspired by a 7-year-old boy who went missing in 2010, the foundation offers a variety of services, including, but not limited to the following: how to quickly assemble and launch effective public awareness campaigns, how to partner effectively with law enforcement and the media. General counsel throughout the search process. The Kyron Horman Foundation was founded in September 2010, and is a non-profit organization supported entirely by volunteers, sponsors, and donations. For every dollar donated to a child, 100% of those funds go to supporting awareness campaigns for that child and no place else. The Kyron Horman Foundation fills a gap that exists in the realm of missing children, and is a unique offering that provides families of missing children with the tools, resources, and counsel that are solely needed during a time of anxiety, confusion, and uncertainty. Every year more than 3,000 children are reported missing under suspicious circumstances. Please help us in the mission to bring these children home. Anyone with any information on where Kyron might be, please call Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, Oregon, 1-503-988-0560, or your local FBI NCMEC, 114-9070. Kyron Richard Horman missing since June 4, 2010. Portland or age now, 21 years old male. Kyron photo is shown age progressed to 19 years. He was last seen at school on June 4, 2010. Kyron was last seen wearing a black t-shirt with CSI in green letters and a handprint graphic. He was also wearing black cargo pants, white socks, and black Skechers sneakers with orange trim. Kyron may wear glasses. Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, Oregon, 1-503-988-0560. NCMEC, 114-9070.
There's too much that's going on, I don't know what to do. Paralyzed by options in this world, can't pick and choose. Yeah, everybody's life is on display, including you. Yeah, I feel every day is just the same, stuck in a loop. I need some variety, I'm sick of this anxiety. I'm sick of this society, they make us feel a rivalry. Compare ourselves to others, but we all got different mothers. We were raised in different structures, so we're different, it's no wonder, yeah. I just want a great life, something where I feel like I just didn't waste time. Something I look back and say that was a great time. Cause man, I just hate when the years pass by the wayside. I'm so lost inside, and I need a little time to find who I am in this life. I will find a way to feel alive. I'm so lost inside. You better watch out now, I figured something out, what this whole life's about, yeah. It's not the goal, it's the journey, wasted emotion is worry, I'll stop being in a hurry, and I'll just enjoy what I'm doing, keep pushing forward and moving, appreciate the improvement, yeah. I was so stuck on a goal, was losing sight of my soul. Need to enjoy getting old and be so present. I don't know if there's a heaven, but I know I wanna get in. And sometimes I feel a presence, energy in a direction, so I follow intuition. It took me to a musician, now I'm on a different mission, to help others with afflictions. Now I'm not lost inside, I finally have seemed to find who I am in this life, and I found a way to feel alive. I'm not Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now, I made mistakes but now I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home. On my own, in the zone, that's the only way I know. Feeling low, about to blow back up. I won't ever let the doubt creep in. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off as friends. I don't really understand myself, I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone.